Now, in the past 12 to 18 months, a lot of investors have earned between 50 to 150% return on investment by investing in properties at pre-launch. Now, for a while now, a lot of investors have also been reaching me and telling me that, oh, Mustafa, be on the lookout for us for properties on pre-launch so that you can tap in early, you can key in early, and we can also make some very good return on our investment. So I think it's the right time for me to do a video on pre-launch properties for sale in Lagos, the pros and cons of investing in pre-launch properties here in Lagos. So in case you are coming across a video like this for the first time, this meet the Property Guy Property channel, and this is where we discuss everything real estate for avid investors, new investors, and beginners, first-time investors who are just about to start investing in real estate here in Lagos or even in Nigeria entirely. You are investing in Abuja, you are investing in Ibadan, you are investing in Ogun State, Port Harcourt, anywhere you are investing. We share tips, guides, and advice for what you should look out for, the risk you should understand, the titles, documents you must also understand before you start investing in real estate. So after watching this particular educative guide, I will also advise you also go to our previous videos, previous episodes. There are so many topics I've covered. Title documents, risk, excision, CFO, and so you are definitely going to learn a lot. So let's go into the topic: pre-launch properties for sale in Lagos. Here is my advice. Now, the first thing you must understand about pre-launch properties is that the companies at this stage, at pre-launch stage, they need money, they need capital. So that's why the prices they set at pre-launch is always a low entry barrier. And why they don't need capital is because likely they have not finished payments on that property with the omonile or the family or the individual they bought that property from. So they need investors' capital to clear off that, to finish the payment. Maybe they just deposit maybe 30% or 50%. So they need capital to finish up the purchase of that property. So when you are buying a property at pre-launch, it's very likely the only thing that will be on that property is just the company banner. No fencing, no gatehouse, no infrastructure yet. So you should have that in mind. So if you say, Rabiu, I want the property at pre-launch, you should be expecting that there is no development or infrastructure or major infrastructure yet on that property. Because at that time or at that stage, the company are still trying to gather funds just to set that project into motion. Now, the second fact about pre-launch properties is that the title mostly are still in process. For example, when the Lagoon Front property was under pre-launch at 5 million naira, the title on that property was government allocation. If you ask Landmark then that, okay, give us document for us to search, it's just the government allocation they will give you. And if you search it, that's what you are going to see. You understand? But right now, the property has a CFO signed and sealed by the current executive governor of Lagos State, and the price of that property has gone up to 15 million. That's a 200% increase on the property. Now, the same thing for Meridian Boulevard, when the property was launched at 21 million, is a government allocation too. Now, the CFO has been signed, sealed. That same property at 21 million is now selling at 50 million for a 500 square meter. That's crazy, right? Now, the Wealthy Estate was selling at excision title for 9 million. Now, the company, which is MKH, have gotten an allocation, a government allocation on that property, and that same property at 500 square meter is now 20 million. That's on like 110-120% increase too. Now, the same thing for Oasis Garden at Poka Ekpe. When the property was freehold, the property was like 4 million. The company have got a government allocation on that property, and that same property is selling at 13 million. That's like a 300% increase on that property. So for most times, when you are buying on pre-launch, you should understand that you are buying a gamble. Clear. That is it in summary. You are buying a gamble. The gamble can work out, company perfect the property, and the property can just go as high as 100, 150, 200, 300% increase. But it's still a gamble. So most times when these properties are at pre-launch, the companies have not perfected the title yet, and that's why they are setting a pre-launch price, because they also want to use those funds to also perfect the title. Perfect the title in Lagos is expensive. Lagos government is actually one of the reasons why property in Lagos are actually expensive too anyway. So that's also another thing that you must understand. Now, my third advice is, if you want to invest in pre-launch properties, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. Now, the first question you must ask yourself is, if I invest in this property and everything goes right after I invested, how much am I going to make? First question. Everything work out. The company paid the family, company did the gatehouse, did the infrastructure, perfected the title. How much profit can I make? Now, the second question you must ask yourself is, if I invested in this property and everything or something went wrong, how much am I going to lose? Something went wrong, maybe with the title or the acquisition of that property, or the company were unable to fully deliver that project in terms of the infrastructure they said they promised. How much am I going to lose? Now, the third question is, if I don't invest at all, in this property, is there something for me to gain, or is there something for me to lose? Now, looking at the examples of those that worked out, Lagoon Front, people that bought at 5 million is now 15 million, 200% return. 21 million for Meridian Boulevard, people that bought at the pre-launch right now is 50 million. That's 130% also return. The World people that bought at 9 million right now is 20 million for 500 square meter. That's also like around like 180% return too. So we can see that those are worked out. But the story is not always like that. There are also some properties at pre-launch that things went awry, things went wrong also. So like I said before, you must understand that you are buying a gamble. Now, the fourth thing you must understand about pre-launch properties is that the companies are not just increasing the price on this property, like they tell you that, okay, buy the pre-launch right now at 5 million, after the launch it's going to 7.5 or it's going to 10 million, or the examples I've given you in terms of Lagoon Front at 5 million and then Lagoon Front at 15 million right now. Now, these developers, these companies are also spending money on improving the property, which is one thing I talked about in my land banking. Don't just buy land and keep. Buy land and improve. So which means that you can also tap into the market analogy which real estate companies they use. For example, when Lagoon Front was selling at 5 million, the property does not have CFO yet. The property was just a vast land facing the lagoon, no fencing, no gatehouse, no streets that have been marked out, no drainages, no infrastructures at all. But now, compare it to now. There's a fencing, there's a gatehouse, there's a jetty under construction, they're already filling the road, they're already mapped out the streets, they're also doing drainages down to a point. So the company don't just sit down, that is 5 million, wait for 1 year, then it's 15 million. They themselves have invested capital into perfecting the title. They themselves have invested capital into bringing in infrastructures into that property for it to also warrant that property increase. So if you buy a property at 2 million right now, and you want that property to also go as high as 20 million, then you yourself, you must improve that property. Documentation is part of improvement. Infrastructures, maybe you fence the property, you put a gate there, you put a borehole there, you clear the land. Any infrastructure that you can do there, you ensure that road get down to your plot or your acre, or electricity get down to your plot or your acre. All those improvements that you can do on the property, as you are spending each of those capital on that property, it will also be adding value to that land. And that's just what real estate companies they do. Meridian Boulevard was selling at 21 million at pre-launch. Right now it's 50 million. It does not just become 50 million with time. Number one, the company has spent a lot in perfecting the title to the CFO, because the government have collected hundreds of millions for that. Then they have also done a lot in putting infrastructure there. The filling, the houses that are built there, because they are built houses there right now. They have built a central water system there right now. They have built a playground right there right now. They have done interlocking on some part of the estate right now. So the value of that property at pre-launch and the value of that property right now are not the same. So definitely the price of that property at pre-launch and the price of that property right now are not the same, because the more value investors can get on a property, the higher the price of that property. You get it now? So if you want your property to go up also, you must also be willing to offer more value for people that are also going to buy from you. That's just the secret of pre-launch, basically. Now, so if you are buying a property, one of the things that you must do, particularly for those that are investing in Ekpe, to add value to that property also, is for you to perfect the title. Now, for some of these properties that people missed out on pre-launch, for example, you wanted to buy Meridian Boulevard, you couldn't buy it at 21 million because you feel like it was just swamp and water, and now it's 50 million. You wanted to buy Lagoon Front at 5 million, you just felt like it's all bush, nothing is happening there, and now it's 15 million. You wanted to buy Itunu at pre-launch of 16 million, you didn't invest early, and now it's 26 million. Should you buy that property even after pre-launch? Does it make any financial sense that a property that you could have bought at 16 million, now you are buying it at 26 million? Or a property that you could have bought at 5 million, now you are buying it at 15 million? Does it make sense? Should you still invest in that property? Now, personally, I will say yes. And I'm not saying this as a realtor, but I'm saying this as an investor consultant. Now, every property that you are buying, you are paying for someone's investment. The company that is buying the property at 5 million right now, or that is selling the property for 5 million right now, probably they bought the property at maybe 2.5 million. Or let's say 2 million, they bought the property at 2 million. Now, they are buying that property for someone, from a company too. Likely the company also, they bought that property at maybe 800k or 600k. So they sold it at 2 million to a real estate company. The real estate company are selling it to you at 5 million. So you can see that each person was buying cheaper and selling higher. Now, for example, the company that bought at 600k and then sold at 2 million, that's like 1.2, 1.8, like 250% return on investment, really. Now, the company that bought at 2 million or 2.5 million and selling at 15 million, you can see that they are making more profits than the person that bought at 600k and is selling at 2.5 million. So most times, it's not really the price that you are buying the property that matters. It's about the value that property is still going to get to when you want to resell. Now, a lot of people that bought Lagoon Front at 5 million, they are not even gotten allocated yet because they are still paying. A lot of them subscribe for 18 months, 12-month payment plan. The people that have gotten allocated, some of them even bought it at 10 million. Some of them even bought it at 15 million, and they have gotten that land already. They're getting that land already. Now, another thing is some of the people that bought, most of the people that bought at 5 million, 70-60% of the people that bought at 5 million will sell faster than most of the people that bought at 10 million or that bought at 15 million. So for example, let's say people that bought at 5 million, they want to sell in 2 years or 3 years time, they won't mind selling at 15 million. But they will look at it as, okay, if I sell at 15 million, I make 10 million profits. That's enough now. I can turn over and move it to another location. But the person that bought at 10 million will not want to sell at 15 million because you look at it like, this property is not yet enough. So the person that bought at 10 million will definitely hold longer. We hold it longer than someone that bought at 5 million. And because he's holding it longer, he will definitely make more return eventually than the person that bought at 5 million. But the person that bought at 10 million will likely be willing to sell when the property have gotten to like 30 million or 40 million. While the people that are buying at 15 million will also be willing to hold it longer to when the price have gotten to like maybe 50 million or have gotten to like maybe 60 million to sell. The secret of real estate is holding. You just have to hold. So just because some people bought it at 16 million and right now it's 26 million, that's not your business. Really, that's not your business. As long as that property have the good title, the improvement that you are looking for is there, the documentation that you are looking for is there, invest. You see, most of the people that bought before you, you are going to make more return than those people because those people will sell before you. And the fact is, you don't have to sell when others are selling. You hold. When others are selling, you hold. So when they are through their own selling, you don't have competition anymore. That's where you now bring your own into the market and you now make more profit and more return on that investment. So just because you missed out on a property at pre-launch doesn't mean you should ignore and rule out that investment. As long as the title has been perfected, you look at the infrastructure development that is coming there, and you feel like that property can still continue to appreciate over a long time period, invest. Don't worry, invest. You are going to make more return than the people that invested before you. That's the truth. So that's my advice on pre-launch properties. That's my advice on properties that are selling at the entry prices, which you can tap into, or you can just wait. So you won't gamble. It's not everybody that have the courage to gamble. That's just it. We have different risk appetites. So if you know that your risk appetite does not permit you to gamble, don't gamble. Just wait for the company to do everything that they want to do there and then invest. Don't worry, you might be paying higher, but now you are assured about what you are investing, and you are definitely going to hold it longer than the early investors, but those ones are going to be willing to sell as fast as possible. So as even a property on the planet, or property advisor, or property consultant, if you have any question about any pre-launch property, as long as I know about the property, I'll try to give you my advice on it and tell you about the location, tell you about the risk assessment, and also tell you about the return on investment you can make. So I can also advise you on the titles and the risk attached to each of these titles. So you can reach me on WhatsApp or drop a comment about any property that you have invested in at pre-launch or you are about to invest in at pre-launch. Thanks once again for watching this video. If you know you have learned a lot, give us a thumb like and see you next time.